My name is Elias, and my curse is to hear the world's soul. Most of the time, it's a low-grade headache, a muddle of anxieties about bills, secret affections, and the dull throb of a million tiny hatreds. It's manageable. Today, it is a psychic holocaust. I am huddled in the skeletal remains of what was once a broadcast tower 30 stories above a city being unmade. The physical world is a nightmare of shrieking steel and crumbling concrete. But the real war, the one that's making blood leak from my nose and ears, is happening in the space behind my eyes. On one side is Godzilla. To call his consciousness noise is an understatement. It's not thought. It is a geological event given voice. Imagine the sound of a tectonic plate shifting, the roar of a planet's core, the fury of a hurricane, and the agony of a star being born and dying all at once. That is the baseline. His mind is a symphony of violence. I feel the crushing weight of the deep ocean where he slumbered, a pressure that would pulverize bone. I feel the searing, instinctual rage of a territory violated, a primal command written in his very DNA. This is mine. You do not belong. There are flashes of memory, not of events, but of sensations, the cold stillness of the abyssal plane, the sting of human weapons like irritating insects, the ancient, burning hunger for radiation, a hunger that is now a roaring furnace inside him. When he roars, the sound that shatters windows is just a pale echo. In my head, it is the sound of the earth itself screaming through a living throat. It is pure, unfiltered, chaotic force. There is pain in it, a deep, resonant agony from the strange, cold energy striking his hide, but it's the pain of a mountain being carved by a glacier, not the pain of a creature that comprehends its own suffering. It is simply a stimulus, and the response is annihilation. And then there is the other, Zarkin. Where Godzilla is a psychic tsunami, Zarkin is a black hole. His mind is silent. It is the most terrifying thing I have ever encountered. It is not the empty silence of a vacant room, but the pressurized, absolute silence of the void. A silence that has weight and texture. It is a presence, not an absence. It is the chilling focus of a scalpel before it makes the first incision. His ambition doesn't shout, it is. It emanates from him like cold from a block of dry ice. I feel no rage, no glee, no fear. There is only a single, monolithic concept, so pure and so vast it barely fits within the confines of a mind. Correction. Zarkin doesn't see himself as a conqueror. In the chillingly clear, geometric patterns of his consciousness, he sees a flawed universe. A messy, chaotic, biological error. Life, with its pointless emotions and random mutations, is an imperfection. Godzilla is the pinnacle of that imperfection, a glorious, pointless, raging beast. A variable that must be deleted from the equation. As his colossal war mech, a thing of impossible angles and dark, like devouring metal, faces the Titan, the contrast is absolute. Godzilla's mind, pain. WRONG. Intruder. Burn. Break. CRUSH. A storm of pure, reactive Zarkin's mind, a silent, flowing diagram of tactical analysis. Target's hide registers extreme thermal resistance. Energy dispersal pattern noted. Recalibrating primary cannon frequency. Left leg joint shows minor structural weakness. Exploit. When Zarkin's violet energy lance strikes Godzilla, I feel it from both sides. From Godzilla, it's a screech of alien agony, a violation that is both hot and cold, a pain his ancient body has never known. But from Zarkin, I feel nothing. Just a cold, detached confirmation. Data point acquired. Efficacy at 78%. Acceptable. Godzilla retaliates, his tail, a whip of primordial power smashing into the mech. The physical impact throws me against a girder. Psychically, it's a wave of raw force slamming against a seawall. For the briefest fraction of a second, Zarkin's perfect silence is disturbed. Not by pain or fear, by annoyance. A flicker of irritation, like a mathematician finding a smudge on his perfect proof. The beast was stronger than his projections. The equation was inelegant. This is what makes Zarkon so much more terrifying than the Titan. Godzilla is a force of nature. You can, on some level, comprehend a hurricane. But Zarkon, he is a force of anti-nature. He is the will to unmake, dressed in the guise of perfection. Now, something changes. The constant, chaotic agony in Godzilla's mind begins to coalesce. The pain, the rage, the territorial instinct, they are being forged into something new by the cold, analytical cruelty of his foe. The storm is focusing into a spear point. The hurricane is becoming a hyper-focused beam of destructive light. The ambient noise of the planet's rage sharpened into a single, pure note of hatred. It is no longer just the Earth's immune system. It is now a conscious, directed vendetta. You. The thought is not a word. It is a brand, seared into the psychic landscape. It is Godzilla, for the first time, not just reacting, but targeting. He is looking past the machine and seeing the mind within. For the first time, a fissure appears in Zarkon's silent fortress. A thought, cold and sharp as a shard of ice, cuts through his own focus. Impossible. Pure instinct cannot achieve singular will. It is the slightest tremor of miscalculation. The first sign that his perfect, sterile mathematics did not account for the messy, indomitable power of life itself. Godzilla's dorsal fins begin to glow, that iconic, terrifying blue. But in my head, it's not blue light. It's the sound of a billion souls screaming defiance. It is the culmination of every storm, every earthquake, every volcano, every living thing that has ever fought to survive, all focused into one being. The chaotic noise has found its chorus. Zarkon's mind registers this. Energy spike exceeds all known theoretical limits. Survival probability, negligible. The thought is still cold, still analytical, but the perfect, serene silence is gone. It is now the silence of a machine that has seen its own obsolescence. Then the atomic breath erupts. And for a blessed, terrible moment, there is only one thing in my mind. A cleansing fire of pure, righteous, beautiful rage. It scours away Zarkon's cold ambition, erasing the void, silencing the silence forever. When I can feel again, all that is left is the aftershock. The pain in my head recedes to a dull, throbbing drumbeat. The city is broken, but the chilling, soul-freezing cold is gone. All that remains is the slow, heavy, tired thrum of a king. The noise is still there, but it is no longer a storm. It is the sound of a deep and ancient ocean, returning to its slumber. And in the quiet aftermath, I finally understand. One was a monster, the other was a god of destruction, and the world was saved by the monster.